And speaking of exchange of fire, there was some verbal firing coming from former Pakistani cricketer Rashid Latif. He in fact seemed to have crossed quite a few boundaries, targeting Indian cricket legend Sehwag in response to a sarcastic tweet by Sehwag earlier after Pakistan's loss to India. He went off on a tangent, making personal and distasteful rant against the Indian cricketer.
But the defeat has not gone down well in Pakistan, as once again we saw fans venting their anger on TV sets, smashing them to bits after losing again to the men in blue. Now, the true face of Pakistani vitriol has been exposed as former Pakistani captain Rashid Latif stooped to a new low as he targeted Sehwag in a bizarre social media post.
लेकिन सहवाग साहब ने हरा तो लिया हम लोगों को. अगर मुझे लेते या किसी एक को लेते तो शायद मैं जवाब नहीं देता. एक नेशन को, एक कौम को लिया उन्होंने. नजफ घर में पैदा हुए और जैसे इन्होंने कहा कि बाप आखिर बाप होता है, इनका बाप का नजफ मिर्जा नजफ खान और बापों का बाप वो हमारा दादा था.
Sehwag had celebrated Indian victory over the Green Brigade in typical Twitter style. Viru said, "We have beaten our son after beating our grandson. Do not worry. Congratulations, India." He added, "Baap, baap hota hai, or a father will always remain a father." While this was Viru at his witty best, clearly it was beyond Rashid Latif's limited understanding ability. Without any consideration for his fellow cricketer, Latif became downright dirty.
जितने भी बड़े हो जाओ, रहोगे हमारे नीचे ही. संभालो, साउथ अफ्रीका आ रहा है. हाशिम आमला, इमरान ताहिर आ रहे हैं अभी. वापसी की टिकट लग रहा है. संडे को मैच है आपका, मंडे को वापसी की टिकट.
Latif exposing the mindset that exists in large sections of Pakistani society, exposing how some people from Pakistan would even use cricket to spread hate of communalism. We answered the Pakistani aggression on the border. We beat Pakistan on the cricket field. Still, there is no end to their hate towards a progressive India and towards a better Indian cricket team. Sports Bureau, India Today.
Well, joining us now on the show is Nikhil Chopra. He's with me in the studio. We also have Dasgupta joining us from Kolkata. Nikhil, I want to ask you first. Clearly, sense of humor is not a strong suit when it comes to Rashid Latif in particular and the Pakistan cricket team in general.
I'm a little surprised. No, I know a couple of Pakistani guys from the cricket team that I played with. They had some great sense of humor, kind of jokes. But Rashid Latif, clearly, if you take a look at that video closely, I think he might be under some sort of influence, because clearly he was not in his senses. What Viru was trying to talk about, he's taken it to a different tangent in terms of BAP. He was talking about in the terms of sport, like every ICC event that India has played Pakistan, we've been trumps. So he's trying to draw a parallel there. But our man was going on some different sort of tangent. But if you look at Rashid Latif, all through his life, he's had problems with the PCB. He's been reprimanded, show cause notices, statements that don't make sense. So he's clearly a loose cannon. So, to be honest, this is exactly probably what he wanted. Viru, trying to get back at Viru and somebody giving him some sort of importance. You and me discussing here, Deep there in Calcutta, MotherinLaw there, we're all discussing this. This is probably what he wanted. He wanted a little bit of importance because clearly he's not getting it back home in his own country or the Pakistani cricket board.
And if he thinks he's such a seasoned cricketer, maybe Dasgupta, Rashid Latif should go back to his cricket team, to his cricket board and try and fix the team. Ordinarily, you would have a cracker of a match between India and Pakistan. You would beat them, but at least they would put up a fight. This time, they pretty much just capitulated.
Listen, it's got nothing to do with that match. I just want to point out 3 points. First of all, obviously, Rashid Bhai doesn't have a sense of humor, like both of you mentioned. It was a very tongue-in-cheek kind of a comment, very typical Viru kind of a comment, and you just move on. You can have fun with it. you can troll him back and stuff like that, but not to get serious. Secondly, you never ever, it's like a Holocaust thing, you never ever talk about the partition. That's something which is very, very serious.
Absolutely.
People from across the border, millions of them, be it this side or that side, they suffered. I know my family has suffered. So that is one thing that you never touch upon. Because it's not just about people from that side of the border. Everyone had suffered throughout the country. Both the countries have suffered. So you don't touch that point. It's very, very sensitive. Thirdly, their obsession with India. I mean, listen, yes, Pakistan is our neighbor. We can't live without them. But for us, the whole world is an oyster. Our world doesn't start and stop at Pakistan, be it cricket, be it otherwise. And obviously from his comments, it seems for them, it's all about India, irrespective India is playing South Africa, Sri Lanka, or whoever. But for them, they can't look beyond India. For us, I think Pakistan is there, but...
All right, I think we've lost the line with Deep. We'll go back to him in just a bit. But we also have Madan Lal with us on the phone line. Madan ji, what do you make of what Rashid Latif has said? So you have some bitter rivalries on the cricket ground and off it. Of course, there's sledging. There is all of that. But have you ever seen a situation where someone actually tries and gives it a communal color or talks about partition?
Well, that's about Pakistan, and they doesn't think before speaking, and their culture is like that. They're not culture, they're agriculture, there. I've been twice to Pakistan, but like it reflects the country, whatever the country, how the country is doing, that reflects on the people, That's what they think like that, and like a number of times, they just come out with a lot of nonsense, you can talk about that sort of thing. But, that sort of thing, communal thing is not the right thing, the Rashid Latif. I know Rashid Latif very well, and he's always been like this, He doesn't think about, before speaking, That's even in a lot of the Pakistani cricketers are not well educated also. You must see that, Most of the cricketers, they're not even gone to the schools also.
Ouch, Madanji, that was brutal. I think Nikhil also wants to come in.
Now, clearly, Padmaja, you talk about just touching upon the fact that what Deep was trying to say, when Pakistan's obsession is with India, what's happening with India? We're progressing, we're going ahead, you talk about sport, you look out in every aspect of life. You look at the IPL, you talk about cricket, how even domestic cricketers are doing well, their livelihoods have changed, and that makes a big difference. So as a nation, as a sport, we're growing ahead. Is it frustration, jealousy? I don't know what it is, but if you're looking to have a verbal battle, you at least should be discussing what Viru said in terms of the sport at that moment in time. Here you're trying to demean him, pull him down, and going through a different tangent. There was a little particular portion where he's talking about being dons and things like that. I mean, where are you taking? What are you doing? You obviously are not in your senses. Why would you want to go that tangent in any case? Fair, Square, you say, fair enough, we've had a bad year, or we're in this rebuilding process. If you look at Viru's shows that, I've seen, and I've been reading his tweets, he's always said that Pakistan team is a very inexperienced team and they're looking to rebuild. So he's always mentioned that, and they made a mistake when they won the toss and they put India in, and they obviously put a lot more pressure when they were looking to chase above 300 runs on board. So, that sort of a discussion. So he's taking it in a sporty tangent, and he's trying to, have that tongue-in-cheek sort of discussion. Here, Rashid Latif, I don't know what he understood, where he took it, to what tangent. So I guess Madhiba was a little correct that he could understand.
Which also speaks of your own mindset, that every single thing is colored with this whole obsession, with India, partition, the communal aspect. It is ridiculous whatever happened to the sporting spirit. Deep Dasgupta is back with us. But I want to quickly play out for our viewers who are wondering what the entire fuss is about. What exactly is that distasteful comment that Rashid Latif made? Listen in and see if you can make any sense of it whatsoever.
हरभजन सिंह और बहुत इज्जत करने वाले लोग आए, कुछ के साथ में खेला, कुछ के बारे में सुना होगा, लेकिन सहवाग साहब ने अरे हाथों लिया हम लोगों को. अगर मुझे लेते या किसी एक को लेते तो शायद मैं जवाब नहीं देता. एक नेशन को, एक कौम को लिया उन्होंने, तो उनका फर्ज बनता है कि जवाब, जुबान हम भी रखते हैं, जवाब देने का हक रखते हैं. नजफगढ़ में पैदा हुए, और जैसे इन्होंने कहा कि बाप आखिर बाप होता है, इनका बाप का नजफ, मिर्जा नजफ खान, जिसके नाम पे रखा गया नजफगढ़, जिन्होंने आज़ादी दिलवाई और बापों का बाप वो हमारा दादा था। तो इसलिए तारीख के पन्ने खोलने पड़ेंगे आप लोगों को। और बड़ी शिकस्त हुई है। बांग्लादेश को आपने पोते का लक़ब दिया और पाकिस्तान को बेटे का दिया। और लेकिन आज क्या हुआ? ये कौन सा बेटा था आपका? वैसे धरती जो होती है वो माँ का एक दर्जा रखती है, ये बाप का दर्जा कब से आने लगा? बाप का दर्जा देना इतना आसान नहीं है। जितनी भी बड़ी बड़ी इमारतें हैं वो हमारे पुरखों ने, हमारे माँ बाप ने, हमारे दादाओं ने बनाई थी, वो हम सब आपको खैरात में दे के आए हैं। चाहे अजमेर शरीफ हो या निज़ामुद्दीन औलिया हो या ताजमहल हो, ये सब हम आपको दे के आएंगे। रखो, आप लोग तो कुछ नहीं बना सकते, हम दे के जा रहे हैं आपको। और जितना आपके ख़ानदान इंडिया में मौजूद नहीं है, उतना मेरा ख़ानदान, आपके ख़ानदान से ज़्यादा मेरा ख़ानदान मौजूद है इंडिया में। अगर बोलेंगे तो मिलने भी आ जाएंगे। वो पता ही है आपको, 14 डॉन गुजरे हैं इंडिया में, 14 के 14 हमारे थे। मुझे डॉन मत बनाओ।
Let me also quickly bring in consulting editor Boria Majumdar. Could you figure out exactly what he was thinking, Boria?
I actually find this whole exchange quite disgusting, to be honest. I mean, you know, two cricketers. Firstly, I think Rashid Latif is way off the mark. I mean, to talk in the manner that he has. Firstly, I had not seen the video before, you know, a few hours back, and then my colleague Vikrant Gupta told me in detail about it, and I found it extremely demeaning, extremely insulting, extremely humiliating for somebody to say and use language like this. This is quite disgusting. I mean, the fact that you are belittling yourself by using such language. You are talking about a cricketer from India, a cricketing legend for that matter. Yes, even if Virendra Sehwag had not said things that you may not have liked, you could have replied in a manner which is befitting and taken the moral high ground. Rather than that, you are stooping so low, using language which is absolutely unacceptable. I think Rashid Latif, on television, if you use such language, the television company that you're working for should surely look at you as an expert, because you don't, for me, qualify to be a representative or an embodiment or an emblem or a person who can represent the gentleman's game.
Deep Dasgupta, and maybe Rashid Latif also did not realize that he came across as really pitiful, gloating at the fact that India lost to a third team. Not even a whimper about the fact that his team was completely toothless to begin with.
Is that something?
Yes, that's right.
I mean, that's what bothers me. I mean, it's kind of laughable. I mean, it's got nothing to do with Pakistan. Yes, Sri Lanka played very well. India lost. And in a game, you win some, you lose some. That's part of the game. And someone like Rashid Latif should know about this. He's been playing. He's been around for a long, long time. So that's got nothing to do with, you know, India losing to someone. Like I said, I mean, it's just a mentality that a lot of these people have. They can't look beyond India. I mean, for us, it doesn't really matter. I mean, yes, we lost to Sri Lanka. We'll go and defeat South Africa tomorrow. Does that, or even if we lose, that's not the end of the story. I mean, we move on. End of the day, we are world number 3 in ODI, number 1 in Test match cricket, and we'll go and get number 1 slot in ODI as well real soon. So I mean, it's really kind of low thinking. I mean, it just tells us, you know, what's the kind of thought process someone like him has.
And which is why I again want to bring up that question, Nikhil. The entire idea of playing Pakistan was to have this bonhomie cricketing ties. You know, we have this sort of soft power, this engagement. And this is what they actually think of us.
This is ridiculous. You know, Padmaja, to be honest, and I promise you another day, you call up Rashid Latif and ask him about should India and Pakistan be playing bilateral series. He'd probably say yes, you know, keep the politics out of it and sports.
Of course, because
then
when you get the money,
exactly,
you want our money, and then you talk about us like this.
Every, you know, test playing nation wants to keep continuing to play with India, because that's why you get the sponsors, and that's where maybe the jealousy comes in. I'm a little surprised. To be very honest, when I saw that entire video, I don't think he was in his senses. I can tell you that clearly he was not. You know, we all know him as a loose cannon, because from sport, he's gone into a different tangent. That when that partition happened, you know, why would you, here you're trying to get the nations together. If that's not happening, you are going in a different tangent and reacting to what Virendra Sehwag said on a cricket game.
Dasgupta is smiling.
You know, so I'm clearly don't understand where Rashid Latif is coming from.
You think Nikhil is giving, is letting him off easy?
No, I'm not saying let him off. I mean, the other thing he said ki itihas ke panne padne padenge. I think it's time that he actually goes back and goes through his history lessons because I believe what I've got is their history only starts after the 12th century or 13th century. Before that, this whole area did not exist. So, you know, maybe it's time.
Is available, then a book on how there is such a thing as sarcasm and humor. Deep Dasgupta, Nikhil and Madanlal ji, thank you very much for joining us. Also our consulting editor, Boria Majumdar. Thanks very much for having tuned in. Unsolicited piece of advice going out to Rashid Latif. If he has been watching or anyone who knows him, we hope it is conveyed. Thanks very much for watching.